Hello everyone, welcome back. My name's Timmy Trickle, and today I'm giving you my ranking of all 8 American Pie movies. Yes, there are 4 movies that were released theatrically, and there are other 4 movies that had nothing to do with the original 4 films that were direct to DVD releases. But I've seen all 8 films, and I thought, why not do a ranking of these? I'm a big fan of the franchise overall. But without further ado, here's my ranking of all 8 American Pie movies. Coming number 8 is Bandcamp from 2005. Uh, this one I didn't like at all. I've only seen it the one time. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like the story. It didn't feel like an American Pie movie to me. And I think they were trying too hard uh, to get this movie to be what it was trying to be, and I didn't care for this one. Coming at number 7 is Beta House from 2007. Again, this one I didn't care for either. The characters, the story, direction, what they were trying to do with this, I have no clue. But I just didn't enjoy it at all. Didn't think it was that funny. Um, and I'm not saying all the direct to DVD movies are bad. We'll find out here in a minute. But this one and the one I just mentioned are bad movies. Uh, but you can't really expect a whole lot for a direct to DVD release. Most of them turn out to be bad. Coming number 6 is The Book of Love from 2009. Now, this one I did enjoy. It basically has to do with that sex book that is in the first movie, where it helps out Thomas Ian Nicholas's character about uh, sex and whatnot. And in this movie, the book gets damaged. So these guys have to go all around the world to get this book redone and put back where it's supposed to be, because they got to ask all these different people um, to redo what they put in the book. And it's a fun road trip kind of comedy. And for a direct to DVD movie, I really enjoyed this one. A lot of laughs, and I love a lot of the characters. There's some big time cameos in this, and I really enjoyed that too. Now, coming number 5 is my favorite of the direct to DVD releases, and that is The Naked Mile. The Naked Mile, yes, 2006. It was between the pieces of crap Bandcamp and Beta House. This movie shines out of the 4 movies, and I love this movie, The Naked Mile. I love the characters. Eugene Levy is in all 8 movies. But this centers around 3 high school seniors who are looking at colleges for the weekend. And they decide to go to a college where the main character is a Stifler, and his cousin goes to this college. And so he's there for the weekend just to check it out. Plus, he's been given a guilt-free pass by his girlfriend to get all the sex out of his system, because his girlfriend wants to wait. They've been going together for 2 years. And, of course, you know what that means. He's getting blue balls. And she said, okay, fine. I'll give you a guilt-free pass for the week or the weekend. And so he takes off with his buddies with that guilt-free pass, and she soon regrets it and tries to reel him back in, but it's too late. But the main focus on this movie is they run a naked mile, which is pretty entertaining. But it's so many funny scenes. The characters are really funny. The 2 Stiflers in this movie are really funny. Especially the one that's already in college. He's really funny in this movie. But yeah, overall, I love this American Pie. movie that is a direct to DVD, but it's really good. And if they were to include this in the actual theatrical release with the others, I think it would have done pretty well in the theaters out of all three of the other movies. I think they should have given it a chance. But, yeah, definitely worth the number 5 spot, though. Now, 4 through 1, we're getting through the theatrical releases. Coming at number 4 for me is American Wedding from 2003. One thing this movie was missing for me is Chris Klein was not in the movie. And Thomas Ian Nichols and Eddie K. Thomas were kind of co-stars in the movie. But I love Seann William Scott, Jason Biggs. There's new characters we meet in this movie. And it's his wedding with Michelle. And Allison Hannigan is freaking hilarious. Eugene Levy is great in this movie. But to me, it's the weaker of the 4 because I really want Chris Klein to be there. And Tara Reid is missing. A lot of the other main characters are missing from the other 2 movies. And I was really kind of sad with that. But the movie overall, though, is still real funny. Stifler steals these movies, Seann William Scott. He was not known in the first movie, and he just exploded along with the rest of these guys. They have since cooled off a little bit. But regardless, American Wedding is really funny. It was nice to see those 2 tie the knot in the franchise. Yeah, it's just a really solid movie, and I love it. Coming to number 3 is American Pie 2 from 2001. This movie was my second favorite in the series until another movie came out. American Pie 2 is great, though. Takes place 1 year after the first movie. The guys are just finishing their first year of college. They come home for the summer. They want to party, have fun, but Stifler's gets shut down, so they're left with nowhere to party. So they decide to go and move to the beach and get jobs and live in a beach house. And from there, it's just a whole bunch of funny antics, great scenes. The best scene in this movie, in my opinion, is the lesbian scene with the 2 girls and the 3 guys, Biggs, Scott, and Thomas, are up in their room while they're painting their house. And so they kind of mess with the guys. They're not really lesbians, but they mess with them to do and trick them into doing some gay stuff too. But they only want them to do it so they can mess with them. And they said, if you go, we go. And that was one of the funniest scenes. You got Chris Klein and Thomas Ian Nicholas on the outside on the ladder going back and forth. And it involves other side characters too during that scene. And it's the best scene in the movie, in my opinion. And yeah, American Pie 2, 2001. Really funny. I really wish they would have left Chris Penn's part in this movie as Stifler's dad. I think that would have been really great. But overall, this is a really funny sequel. And if it wasn't for another movie, this would be number 2. But my number 2 now is the recent one in the franchise, American Reunion from 2012. Ever since I watched this one a few years ago, I watch it all the time. This is the one I go to more now than any of the movies. And it's not even my number 1. But American Reunion, it picks up. They're supposed to have their reunion, basically. They ended up having an odd number for their for their reunion. And I love this movie because it brings everybody back in this movie. I was happy to see Chris Klein, Tara Reid, and a lot of the other characters from the first few movies. And you also get to see some new characters. And the best thing, I love Rebecca De Mornay in the end of this movie, where Stifler ends up banging Fitch's mom. That is so sweet justice, and I love it. I love Rebecca De Mornay. The first time I watched this movie, as soon as I looked at her, I knew who she was, and I'm so happy to see her. And that last few minutes of the scene was so great. But this movie overall is really funny. Of course, you get the guys back together. They're doing their usual antics, especially Stifler. And my favorite scene is, well, there's many of them, but my favorite one is when Stifler's getting back at him for basically splashing him with water with the jet skis. And so he ties the jet skis to his truck, and he ends up taking a crap in their beer cooler too. And really teaches those young kids a lesson about respecting adults and whatnot. But yeah, American Reunion is one I've watched over the last 3 years alone. Almost 3 years since I've been out of the hospital. It'll be the 19th of this month. No, that was in October. I think it's getting close to 3 years. But anyway, I've seen that or watched it at least 24 times, if not more. Just from the opening, when you hear that song, my mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. I love that opening. And of course, you have Jim and Michelle. They've been married, they have a kid, but they're having problems just like any other married couple who have kids. They're not physical anymore. And so they do their own thing. And it's just really funny. And from there, the movie is just great. Of course, we find out that Jim's dad and his mom, she passed away in this movie. Well, she passed away before the movie was made, but just in the movie sense, not in real life. But that was the storyline they went with. And the final scene of this movie with Stifler's mom and Jim's dad is priceless. And this is a fantastic movie. Just freaking awesome. And of course, my number one is American Pie from 1999. Yes, this movie came out a year after I graduated from high school, and so I could really relate to this movie and about teenage boys just have one thing on their mind, having sex on their mind. And although I was never like that, I mean, I thought about it, but I didn't go to the extreme that they do in this movie. And but that's what makes this movie so funny, and I can relate so much. And then his dad talking to him about masturbation, and of course, my dad never did that because we pretty much know what goes on and the ins and outs and everything. But I was really smart when it comes to the whole sex craze and wanting to have it at a certain age. And, but yeah, this movie, we meet a lot of great characters to start. Jason Biggs, Chris Klein, Thomasine Nichols, Sean William Scott. It's Eddie K. Thomas, Alyssa Hannigan, Tara Reid. We meet a lot of great young actors and actresses. And this movie started it all. Like I said, I can relate to a lot of things in this movie. I never did the prom thing. I was always working. I was never asked, and I never asked no girl or anything. I was more interested. I just got my first apartment. I was interested in partying with friends and not really worrying about having a girlfriend or none of that stuff. But it's a great movie. I have seen it the most, obviously. out of all the other movies. But American Reunion, I'm telling you, is catching up fast. But if I was to pick a go-to movie in this franchise, I would say now it's American Reunion. It used to be the original American Pie, but ever since I've seen Reunion, it's been my go-to. But I love all four movies, and sometimes I just end up watching all four in one day, just because they're that great. And it shows with the box office numbers. They're supposed to be making another movie for this franchise. Overall, these four theatrical movies have a budget of $145 million, and all four combined have made over $1 billion. So that just tells you right there how popular these movies are and why they're interested in making another one. And I really look forward to that. So, but that is my ranking of all 8 American Pie movies. Obviously, from my least favorite to my favorites. And so, in the comment section below, give me your ranking of all 8 American Pie movies, or just the ones you've seen, and let me know which one is your favorite. If you're new to the channel, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell icon, and let's talk about movies. I do top 10s. I'll be talking about TV shows here in a few weeks. And yeah, let's just talk. I love talking about movies. Share my videos with your family and friends. The more people I get on my channel, the better it'll be. And I just want to have a lot of fun doing this. But until next time, I thank you for watching this review and my ranking of the American Pie franchise. And I will see you guys next time in the next video. Check you later.